Welcome everybody to episode 15 of the All Gunners podcast, and with me today, as per usual, we have our resident host accompanying me, Zeesh, also known as Zed. How are we doing, Zeesh?
Hey mate, hey Harry, I'm alright, man. It's been a while since we've done one of these podcasts, isn't it? I
Little
think
bit of
more than a
time,
week,
isn't it?
little bit of time. Life got in the way, as it usually does.
Life get in the way. We were thinking about which excuse to use: Ramadan, Eid, life, but don't. It was just everything, wasn't it?
It
Life,
was
family, the
everything,
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, man. It gets in the way, but you know what? Glad to be back, glad to be
We've
talking
got
to
a
you.
couple of games, haven't we, that we're going to be covering,
Absolutely,
and
mate, absolutely.
you listeners can tell that we're very upbeat. Our voices are in good spirits, but the voice that we're not going to be finding in very good spirits, and we had to absolutely persuade him to come on today. But we have to go easy on him, Zish. We will go easy on
Yeah,
you,
we
Atta.
have to, we have to.
We will go easy on our United fan, good friend, brother from another mother, Atta Khan. How we doing, mate?
Yeah, guys, I'm good, man. I'm good, despite the result, but I'm all right, man. Thanks. How
You
you
know what
both
we
doing?
like about you, though, Atta? We've got to say this, right? Yeah, is that you didn't really need persuading to come on. To be fair, and we thank you for that. Very graciously come, and I know not so much when you are playing, you don't take defeat very well, but I think United are just dejecting at the moment, aren't they? Really? So you've just accepted they're just playing so shit, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it was nice that it was only 3-1. so so yeah, I mean,
But we'll
if it
come
was
on to
any
that. We'll come
yeah,
on
if it
to
was
that.
if it was any worse, then it would have been a bit difficult. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, let's get into it though. Let's get into it, guys. Listen, thank you very much for joining us today, and Atar, thanks again, as I say, for coming
no
on.
worries.
I'm going to try and facilitate really good conversation and a pragmatic conversation. Really, you Atar predicted, didn't you? You said that we would win. We would maybe we thought that we would probably win, but I don't think the performance matched what our predictions were in terms of how we would perform, especially after coming off the back of beating and convincingly
Yeah,
beating Chelsea. But look, we did the job, didn't we? 3-1 to the Arsenal. I thought you weren't optimistic about the game. How were
no.
you feeling through the game, and what were your thoughts after
Yeah, I
overall?
mean, to be honest, I think before the game started, I predicted, I think, 3-0 or 3-1 or something like that. And as the game went on, I was really surprised. I was shocked, to be fair. I mean, I thought overall, on the balance of play, we should have won on
Just
the
to let you
day.
know, guys, I had no text messages whatsoever from Adar during the game. It was as if his phone was not working.
No, no,
But we
no.
scored an early goal, didn't we, Adar? So that's probably why.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I mean, I think like I said, on the balance of play, I think we actually deserve to win. But overall, I think um, just certain things didn't go for us. I mean, missed penalty, and we hit the post and the bar 2 or 3 times.
A few
I think.
times he hit the post, didn't
Yeah,
you?
I
Yeah.
think Ramsdale made a couple of really good saves as well. Like that were destined to go in, sort of thing. And obviously, when you're 2-0 down, you expect the worst. But I think we even 2-0 down, we rallied quite well. Ronaldo scored
I
that
would agree.
goal, and we got that pen. And I thought, do you know what, penalty is definitely a goal now. 2-2. We're probably the most likely to go on and win. But then we missed the penalty, it sucked it out of us a little bit, and then that power driver from Xhaka, who I think is useless, by the way, but, but the one thing he can do is hit a ball, and
He
yeah,
doesn't shoot very often, but when he does, sometimes it comes off. But
there was
Zish,
yeah,
Always against United.
I
I
was
think
gonna
there was
say
that's.
some
it's not the first time that he scored, but Zish, you and I were actually texting through the game, weren't we? And I was
Yeah, yeah.
cautiously trying not to reply to you because I was like, let's just get the win and then let's celebrate and talk. But would you say Atal's described that sort of fairly? I think he has, but he's saying at 2-1. They score that penalty. Ronaldo usually
Mhm.
takes them, but Bruno for some reason steps up and they
Well,
miss.
you say that, but Ronaldo doesn't usually take them for Man U. What Bruno's always been the designated penalty taker.
Really, he took the one last night
Yeah,
against
I
Brentford.
think
what
I
he did
think
last night,
yeah.
not before that though. I think it's changed
Interesting.
now,
I
Yeah.
think
but
I think
Bruno's
what
been the
happened
one.
is Bruno took the one against Villa when it was 1-0 to Villa. Last minute we got a penalty and Bruno missed, and then Ronaldo's taken them since. But then I think I was reading that Bruno and Ronaldo had a conversation on the pitch, and Ronaldo told Bruno to take it. I think he wasn't feeling great because of his son passing
Losing him.
away
Ah,
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So I think he didn't take it because of that. But I think Bruno and Ronaldo, they both recognise Ronaldo as a penalty taker just on this occasion. I think Bruno
Ah,
and him had the chat.
interesting.
Oh, okay.
Some inside
Yeah.
information there. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know how inside. I just read it somewhere, man.
It was a poor penalty though, wasn't it, Zeesh? And
Oh, absolutely, mate. I just
game
have to
changing.
say,
Yeah.
it was a crucial moment in the game because, and I broadly agree with Atta on the fact that the balance of play, it was quite a balanced game for me. I think it was quite open. There was chances on both ends, but leading up to the penalty, Man United did have the upper hand, and I was very scared because I kind of felt like if they got that goal, that the game was theirs to take. Is that the momentum would have been with them and they
Yeah.
would have taken it. And they got the penalty. It's a clear handball. Let's not get it wrong. Nuno Tavares has had
I mean,
some.
we could do a pod on Tavares alone, couldn't we?
Yeah,
To be fair.
absolutely, absolutely. While he's a young player and I give him time to adjust and do stuff, but he has been quite poor. Arsenal have won last three games, so he hasn't really shown through. But
But
the
he scored
drop
in this
off in
game. He
he
scored, didn't
did,
he?
he did.
Very
I
early
mean,
on. Yeah.
if he didn't, it would be a bigger problem, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he did score, which was good for his confidence, but the drop off in the level for when Kieran Tierney is playing and when Nuno Tavares is playing is noticeable. It's very, very big, right? So anyway, the penalty was stone cold penalty, and honestly, when Bruno stepped up, I obviously I don't know much about Manchester United, but uh, I just thought he was the penalty taker, and as soon as he stepped up, it's actually me and my brother was sitting there watching the game. I'm like, he's gonna score. My brother's like, nah, he isn't because he doesn't look confident. He looks weird, and
It
then
was
he
a
does
poor
that.
penalty, wasn't
It
it?
was a very poor. He stutters and does that stupid
Do you know
thing,
what?
waits for the keeper to
I
go, and
actually think the penalty wasn't that bad. What I think happened is I think the problem is twofold. I think one, he was expecting Ronaldo to take it, and then last minute
yeah,
him and Ronaldo decided fine. But I think also the thing with Ramsdale is Ramsdale's quite a good penalty shot stopper, isn't he? So I think what a lot of players do is, well, I think what Bruno did in this case is he saw. I think he thought getting it into the
in the
side
corner.
isn't
Yeah,
good enough. It has to be right in the corner because if you look, I think Ramsdale he sent Ramsdale the wrong way,
He
yeah.
but
did.
he's still missed because he was aiming for the corner. Once the keeper's gone the wrong way, you don't need to go in the corner. You can just roll it in. But I think in the back of his mind, he's thinking I have
But
to go
it's
to
that
the
it's
side,
that
not
little
in.
stutter step that Jorginho does that he did that
But the
kind of.
stutter step worked to be fair because the keeper went the wrong way. It's
Mm,
just I think he overthought it or something. But
yeah.
I don't. I wondered. I actually wanted to ask you guys a bit on
Hmm.
the game, a couple of things. Um, did you see the bit where I think there was something to do with there was a penalty shout against Cedric or something on Sancho?
Oh
Did
yeah,
you?
the
Oh yeah,
handball
yeah,
that
yeah.
wasn't given. Yeah,
The handball,
Yeah,
yeah.
when he
either
kind
it
of
was a
crawled
handball.
onto the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah. What's your take on that? Because I think whether he meant it or not, he's stopped Sancho. Cedric's on the floor. He's stopped Sancho progressing. Sancho's going to be clearly in the
Yeah,
box.
I remember the
It's
incident. I
advantage
mean,
us.
Zish
I
and
think
I,
it's a penalty.
we had a conversation, and I think that what the issue for us was is that, and Zish, I'll take your view as well on it in
Yeah.
a second, is that his hands are going to the ground, and yes, you have to then question his intention of where the ball is against where his hands go, but his hands have definitely got to land on the ground for him to fall. You know, when
Yeah,
you fall
Yeah.
over, your hands are going to touch the ground. But I think the ball for me, and I'm being out, I will be objective here, but I think for me, the ball rolled into his hand. Now you've got to
Hmm.
be very, very clear, and I know the rules will come into this, is that you've got to be very clear about your intent there.
yeah,
And I look, we'll never know what his intent was because the ball literally rolled into his inside of his elbow. Um, I think, look, another referee may have given that, and we've seen them
yeah.
given. It's fair to say, but for me, it wasn't a penalty. Said.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think so. The letter of the law
Shocking,
is
shocking.
no, no. I mean, just the letter of the law is that if the hand or the arm is in an unnatural position, so that's the letter of the law. So when the Tavares goal came in, when that penalty came in, his hand clearly was in the wrong unnatural position. He's jumping with his
Yeah,
arm on.
Yeah,
That's not right,
that was a
right?
stone cold pen.
That
Yeah,
was a stone cold pen. No questions asked, right? The Cedric one, when someone is falling, right? The first instinct for any person is to put their hands on the ground to not go face first, right? And if the ball hits you in that moment of your transition, I don't think you can say that's an unnatural position. Whether that blocks the ball or not, it's according to the letter of the law, it's not an unnatural position to be in. But I agree with Harry that they have been given. It's the interpretation of the referee on the field.
Yeah.
But if you're going to stick to the letter of the law,
Yeah.
that is unnatural
And they,
position.
yeah,
That's not an unnatural position.
they
That is
called
a
it
natural
right.
position. Yeah.
Fine. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to ask is, what did you make of Xhaka's goal
I
in
think
terms of
so. Okay.
the,
So
the, the offside?
yeah. No, absolutely. I think that one I'm more 50-50 on. One thing is that that I think only gets away with it. Arsenal only get away with it is
Because you're at home.
because well, no. I think there's a I think it's a
I mean,
Lindelof.
I have to just
Lin,
interject there. This is
yeah.
the United fan that have literally had hundreds of minutes added on to the end of games purely because of playing at Old Trafford, and then he has the audacity to come out and say because you're at home. But anyway, carry on.
Mate, honestly, I'm pretty certain I saw that. They played the referee on the pitch at the end of that. I'm pretty certain.
Look,
Yeah.
I have to say, VAR has been harsh to us this season. So sometimes the luck swings in your favour a little bit. But go on, anyway, Zed. You were saying,
No. I mean, I think it's yes. What you call Nketiah's on the in the offside position, but the problem is he's not the only person blocking De Gea's view, right?
there was a United
It's
player
Lindelof.
blocking his view.
It's Lindelof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
but
Lindelof is
Lindelof
even
can't be offside though, can he?
no, Lindelof's not offside, but he's also blocking his view. So even if De Gea, so Xhaka is on the right hand side of Lindelof and of Nketiah. So from
Yeah,
my point of
yeah.
view, De Gea still has to look over Lindelof to get a view of where Xhaka is anyway.
But the problem is Lindelof can stand wherever. The problem is that the Arsenal player is offside because he's between the De Gea and Lindelof is the last man under.
And that's why I say it's a 50-50 thing.
But the
It's not
thing is, De Gea had to move to the right or whichever way in order to try and get a look at the ball. And by that time, the ball's gone past him, so
He's
it's
not
gone the other way.
saving
So
that
by
though,
the
is he?
time
Let's
he's
be honest.
no,
no,
but
no, but I think he'd already taken step. If you have a look at the last, like how far he was from the ball, if he didn't take that step to the right, I honestly think he'd have got a hand on it.
yeah, but even then, right? A goalkeeper in his positioning, if your centre back is covering one side, you will always focus on the other side. You won't actually go to the same side that your centre back is on.
Yeah.
But
De Gea's positioning isn't correct to begin
yeah,
with.
but the point is, so Nketiah is offside,
Yeah.
and it has impacted De Gea. So therefore, is it unfair that the goal was given?
I'm not calling him offside though.
Because to the letter of the law, to the
Yeah.
letter of the law, like we applied to the
The handball. Yeah.
Cedric or unnatural and all that rubbish. Yeah, yeah. To the letter of the law, thing is obstructed his view and he's offside. So
Mhm.
it has affected. So to the letter of the law, if we're going to play it that way, I
Yeah.
think he's offside.
All right, Dermot.
You
Let's
know.
leave
Yeah.
that
No.
No.
there.
It's Dermot when I apply it.
On a pragmatic view, absolutely that could be given as a no goal, right?
Look, man said, just say he's offside, man. You won anyway.
No. I already said he's offside. He's offside. He's in offside position. There's no point.
Yeah.
My point is that De Gea's positioning is wrong to begin with, and even then what he's doing is he's trying to look around his centre back and
I think if
another player.
Lindelof's not there, then you know
That's
what?
definitely not a goal. If Lindelof's not there, it's not a goal.
And that's the problem.
100%.
Even though you're right,
100%.
Atta, with what you're saying about Lindelof wouldn't have affected anything, but that's kind of clouded the judgment because
That's
the referee,
created doubt.
the
But then, if
referee
that's
is.
clouded the judgment, then they've gone against what's the law. They've
But
gone
they'd
I
be
mean,
against
saying,
the
wouldn't
truth.
they?
yeah.
Their argument would be that because he's being obstructed in any case by his own player, we couldn't prove that Nketiah was also obstructing his view.
No. But Lindelof's on the other side of Nketiah. So that he's gone to the other side of that. Nketiah's taken the shot. That the shot's gone. So Lindelof's not in between the ball and Nketiah, if that makes sense.
So Xhaka is on the right. So if you're looking from De Gea's side, Xhaka's on the left.
Yeah.
You've got Lindelof, then you've got Nketiah.
Yeah. So Nketiah's.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So Nketiah is the furthest player. Yeah.
Yeah.
But where Xhaka is, where the ball is. Remember, Elneny wins the ball
Yeah.
from the Man U player. I don't know who that is.
Bruno,
I can tell you who that was.
Bruno.
so good Atta.
Idiot.
Yeah, who's
Yeah,
basically doing
game,
nothing.
by the way, Bruno. It was not good.
That. No, but yeah, I think overall, right? I think if, yes, that entirely up to the ref there, because I think any other ref could have just said no goal, and some ref would have. I think the doubt is
A
created by.
competent ref, I think, is the word.
I mean, if you want to talk about competent ref, Bruno should not been on the pitch.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Listen, if you want to talk about competent ref, Bruno, maybe he should have been sent off fine. But then,
Yeah,
but then
Maybe.
that, yeah, maybe.
Dermot, where are you going?
No, so then our penalty we should have had a thingy then, and that offside goal wouldn't have counted then. Yeah, is that what
even
you're saying?
so, the off. I mean, I would concede that. That's fine, but the
And
fact that Bruno should have been.
Did Bruno
Bruno.
should have been sent off before the penalty? Because if that's the case, Ronaldo would have taken the penalty.
No, 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 Bruno. That was after the
Oh, was it
penalty,
after
That
the
was
penalty?
after it was
and
when he was
before
booked
Arsenal's
off the
third goal.
football
Ah, right,
So,
ground.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
so Bruno
Also,
might not have lost the ball in that case.
yeah,
Maybe
exactly. So technically, to be fair, I'd have preferred. I could have played better than Bruno. He lost the ball every time he got it, honestly.
he was pretty
But
poor, wasn't he? He was
I
he
pretty
want.
was, he
poor.
was.
What did you make of Ramsdale? I'm sorry, I'm the one asking questions. I'm so sorry, but I'm passionate about this. I think Ramsdale. There was a couple of instances when I thought in my head, what is he doing? There was a point when Bruno tried to chip him. Do you know which point I'm on about? When
Yeah, yeah,
Ram,
and he
Yeah.
should have scored that.
he's
That was a big
yeah,
mistake from Ramsdale,
he
wasn't it?
hesitated. He should have passed it to Ronaldo or chipped him. But either
Yeah,
way, Ramsdale, I don't know what he was
I,
thinking, and he
I
does that
I
once or
think
twice a game, you know. But
what you've got to
I know he's
remember
your savior, but he's not
what you've
all
got to
that,
remember with
man.
Ramsdale is that he's still a very young keeper that is showing some significant leadership skills for the Arsenal team. It's still the youngest squad in the league at the moment, and yeah, you're right. The last few games, I think we've discussed it in previous pods as well, is that he has been a little bit shaky since that injury, hasn't
He
he?
has, he has. And Harry, I'm not going to be as kind as you always. Says young squad. Yeah, that's fine. He's a young, the young players, and Ramsdale for a keeper is extremely young.
He was
I
also
mean,
for Ronaldo's goal. He was in no man's land. I
he
don't know
was.
what he was
Well, and
doing.
I think Ronaldo's goal is less on him and more on
I was going to
Tavares.
say Ronaldo's goal was absolutely class. It was out of nothing,
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
yeah.
It's
You
just his
you can't save
movement.
those.
It's just his
Yeah,
movement.
you
It was
can't save.
world class. That just the way the
Yeah.
ball, he let it just bounce onto him and finish it. It's stuff from FIFA, isn't it? That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's too good. That finish is too good. The positioning is too good,
I
and
think the
that's what
defending was
Ronaldo is.
poor on that one as
Well,
opposed to
yeah, yeah,
I
Ramsdale.
think
Yeah,
absolutely.
Gabriel was just wrong side, wasn't he?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
yeah, yeah. I
And
think
Ronaldo even scored an offside goal, man. Like, on the balance of it, I think a couple of times we hit the post. Ramsdale made a couple of saves, missed the penalty, offside goal. I think
Yeah, look,
overall we should have
I
won. To
don't
be
think
fair, but
you're preaching to the converted on that one. That we let you in. I think. I think the game was far too open for our liking, and you had hit the post. I think more than once, twice. I think at least.
I think
Mhm.
Bruno hit the
Tellez, I think.
post.
No,
Dallo hit the post
Dallo
twice.
hit the
Dallo,
post.
Yeah,
sorry, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I think I was nervous, but for me, what I have to say is, and this is just before we move on now, guys, is that at 3-1 when Xhaka scores that goal, I have to say that the most brilliant part of Arsenal's game after that was just the way they controlled it.
Yeah, the game was
After that,
killed by then. Yeah, you
and,
killed
Yeah.
it off nicely.
and they are and Zed, I want to just get your view finally on this as well.
Mm.
Is that in comparison to previous seasons, and I'm even going back to Arsene Wenger years now, and Emery's
Yeah.
time, is that one thing that I'm seeing this season with this Arsenal team is that when they do take a lead and they're protecting a lead, they're doing it really well, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. I think you can certainly see the Mikel Arteta influence of okay, control the game a
That
bit
Man
better, play.
City-esque kind of
Yeah,
inherited kind
yeah,
of thing.
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa,
No,
whoa, whoa!
No, no, but
let's not go with that
not
comparison.
to
But
that
Come
yeah,
on,
extent, but that's what they're about, aren't they? Man
it's
City will
starting to
pass
get
you.
to it.
They'll pass you to death, won't they, man? That's I think what
Yeah.
Arsenal are aspiring to do. Okay, we're not going to go there with the Man City s because I know Atta's going to start bringing Özil
come on, man!
versus
Come on, man!
what was the debate we had?
Odegaard.
Odegaard.
Odegaard. Yeah, let's not go there. Right. So I think what I am impressed with, and obviously we are going to come on to the West Ham game later, is the way that Arsenal kind of at 3-1.
Mm.
Because we've seen Arsenal teams give away 3 goal leads in the past, haven't we?
Yeah,
Four
yeah. I think
goals. Remember you beat
four
Newcastle
goals.
4-0 and then
Four,
Yeah.
four,
showed
four
us.
nil up, and that's
You
absolutely.
know,
So what I'm saying is that there's a stability there, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah, I think you can clearly tell, and I think even Athar will agree, the fact that there is a direction of travel. There's inconsistencies and there's naivety in the team, which is what you alluded to earlier, but you can see a platform, you can see passage of play where you can see the identity of where Arsenal as a team, or where Mikel Arteta wants this team to go. And that's one of the part of it. That's one of the things that he's worked very hard on, which I give him credit for. I blame him for a lot of things, and he gets a lot of things wrong because he's still learning. But one of the things that he has got right from day one, and that is to provide a stable base for the team to play on. And Xhaka and Lenny and the back four are a very big part of it, to allow the recycling of possession and just keeping the ball and killing off games when needed. So
I
that,
think
that he's
I
done
think
very well in that.
having El Neni back in the team, I think he's made a big difference. The few
Absolutely.
games I've watched recently, the ones that that El Neni's played, I might be wrong. I haven't seen all your games, but he always seems to play well. And I know he's not
Yeah.
your starter normally, is he? He's not your first team
No,
player,
no,
really.
he warms the bench most of the time.
But since he's come in, he's done really well, hasn't he?
I think he's a brilliant player to have on the
Yeah.
bench. And I've said it to Harry when we were on that losing streak. I was going on the podcast to say, look, play him, play him, play him, because he's a very
He's
good
just cool,
player.
calm. He knows
He,
where to be, right
cool,
place,
calm.
right time.
He he reads the game well. He puts in the tackle. He protects the back four, and he does the things simple. He's not
Yeah,
a Thomas Partey who's going to progress the ball and do all of that. He
Al-
will do the job.
although he is, there's been a few moments, isn't there, where he's progressing the ball well. And look, he does what El Neni is what it says on the tin, isn't it? Really, is that
Absolutely.
he'll come in and he'll do a job. The simple things he'll do well, and you're absolutely right. And thank you for pointing that out. Just finally, before we move on, guys, is
Mhm.
BT Sports. If you ever happen to listen to this pod, Atta Khan is somebody that can help in your refereeing department, because he seems to have turned into one today.
yeah,
Right, Atta, let's stick with you on this one now, because after you played against us, you drew out a really kind of tight game draw with Chelsea, didn't you?
yeah.
We thought, I think, after the recent run and performance, that this might be a game, especially at home, because United haven't been great at home across the season. But a sort of hard fought 1-1 draw against, was it Mr. Ronaldo again with the goal?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
he's
gosh,
just class,
what a
isn't he?
coincidence!
He's
He's an
just too good.
amazing player, and I think, isn't he now that one of is he the joint highest scorers, or just a goal or two off?
I think Salah's clear, but I can't remember. And maybe Son. I can't.
Son, I
I
think
think.
Salah, Son, then Kane.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
No, I think Ronaldo is second. I think so.
what a machine of a goal! What a goal machine he is! I mean, there was a stat that I was watching, because I happened to catch a bit of the Brentford game last night as well. Is that there was a stat of your top last in the last few games, your highest scorers, and it was something like Ronaldo with whatever he's got, 7 or 8 whatever goals he
I
scored.
think in the last 10 games, 10 goals, so Ronaldo scored 8 or 9 of them.
That's right, and it was like Fred with one next.
Fred scored, and obviously Bruno scored yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously
So,
this was the stat before Bruno scored. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's talk about Chelsea then. Atta. What did you
To be
make of
honest,
that
that
game?
game, I think Chelsea actually played better than us the whole game. To be fair, they were more in control, and they should have really been well in.
But are they going through a patch at the moment?
They are, but
they are.
they
They
should
are.
have beaten us. But again, De Gea heroics, and they went 1-0 up, and
But they
then
just about beat West Ham before you. It was the final few
I
minutes, and
know, yeah.
I mean, we
But
talk about the top four race later on in the pod, but I mean, imagine if they lose against Chelsea, draw against you, then again, didn't they lose against Everton a couple of nights ago as well?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gosh,
I still think they'll make Champions League spots. I think against us anyway, they were better than us. But again, I think we had Mr. Ronaldo. The goal, I don't know if you've seen it. It was just brilliant, touch and volley. It was just brilliant. But
yeah,
I think on the day they are a better team than us. They played better as a team, and I was just glad Lukaku didn't come on or didn't do anything. Thank God.
Well,
yeah.
Lukaku wouldn't have done anything even
He,
if he came
he
on.
probably
Yeah,
He's
would
been
have scored an
absolutely.
own goal. And
that's
and
why
Yeah.
Tuchel doesn't play him. Yeah.
and Zed, you want to touch on a current issue regarding the Chelsea at the moment,
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah. I think yeah. So I think all of this could be Chelsea potentially in the Champions League could be for nothing because they could go out of business.
And
The
Yeah,
and
latest
and
yeah.
and,
news on
and,
that
and
is
Athar, this is probably the only one point that we're going to agree on on this whole pod, right? And that is our absolutely unanimous agreement in hate for Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
How funny, how brilliant would it be for Chelsea, for us as United supporters and Arsenal supporters alike, that Chelsea moneybags Chelsea, mafia
Yeah.
moneybags Chelsea, end up, after all of these success and trophies that they've bought over the years, because that's one thing I'll say, that where I can have some respect for the likes of United and Arsenal and Liverpool, right, is that we haven't gone out there and had a sugar daddy that's come and absolutely um, bought our trophies. We've done that through hard work, obviously more earlier in our days than recent time, but
Yeah,
through selling players and building our stadiums, through money and self-sufficiency. But my hate for Chelsea and Manchester City, I have to say, but Chelsea in particular, is the fact that their sugar daddy has come in and bought it for them. How brilliant, Athar, would it be if they were to go under?
yeah. I mean, I think it would be really good, and just not as in terms of like United versus Chelsea sort of team as a club sort of thing. You never want to see that for any club really, but
Oh,
um,
I wouldn't mind Tottenham
yeah,
going like that, actually.
yeah, but yeah, but I mean, I think
A
yeah,
joke.
it's not good for football, but it's good for us as sporters, I guess, like for United and
I don't know,
Arsenal and everyone
if
against
you end up
Chelsea.
finishing fifth and that Champions League place goes to one lower.
I don't think we, yeah, but you know what? That would be good. But we'd probably get annihilated in Champions League.
Yeah,
So
I mean, God knows what would happen in that situation. But Zed, carry on. So you were saying then
Yeah.
about the Chelsea. I mean, look, I just heard about this briefly on the news today, and there's some
Mhm.
technicalities around Abramovich and what he owes and what they're trying to do in terms of the funding and how it's sold and whatnot. But in summary, for our listeners, there's a real chance that if Chelsea aren't registered by a date in June, and this
Mhm.
hasn't all been sorted, they may not be able to make it for the league next season.
No, so just to give a bit of perspective, uh, currently Roman Abramovich is sanctioned within the UK, so he can't do any business, right? So he can't make a penny in the UK, doing from any of his businesses. And Chelsea is one of his businesses, so he said, "Look, I'll sell Chelsea." Right now, Chelsea's a £2 billion club. So what he's saying is he'll sell that, but remember, all that money for the last 10, 15 years that Chelsea has been chucking at players and wages has not come from anywhere, but is actually a loan from Roman Abramovich. So what he's saying is, look, I'm giving the club for free, essentially, an asset worth 2 billion, but that club owes me a billion and a half, for example, of money. I don't know what the exact figure is,
it
but it's
is about
so
1.5 billion. Yeah,
1.5 billion. So the club itself owes a billion and a half. And what's happened is all the bidders who are bidding for this club now have been told, look, it doesn't just come for free. You can't just give 2 billion and that's it. But you have to pay Roman Abramovich, one of his companies in Jersey or whatever, the 1.5 billion that is owned. So that was always the scary thing with the way Chelsea operated. That if all the money that Roman Abramovich pumped into the club came from his companies as a loan,
yeah,
right? So that loan has now is due. So if that doesn't happen, and remember, as I said, the UK government has said Roman Abramovich can't make any money. So what that means is they won't allow the sale to happen if he's going to get a 1.5 billion pounds from it.
Hmm.
So
He's trying to
Chelsea,
play the
whoever
books, isn't he, so that he ends up
he
getting
is,
something.
well, he will be losing up to 3 or 4 billion or 3.5 billion pounds with the sale. And Chelsea have an operating license till about the end of the month, so 31st. So if they can't sort something out by Wednesday, 1st of June, bye bye Chelsea.
yeah.
Because
Well, what
this
they're
is what I was
saying
gonna
is sorry,
go on.
Harry. I was just going to say what they're trying to say is like Zed said is that if they can't sell, they have to sort of sell before the end of June because otherwise they're going to end up bankrupt basically, and they're just going
Yep.
to die out. That's essentially it. So they're
And
trying to.
how likely is it that it may not sell before that date?
It's quite likely to be.
Quite
Well,
likely.
it's quite likely because if Abramovich doesn't budge on what he's saying, he wants his 1.5, but and then the UK government is also not budging, saying you're not getting a penny. Then by the end, no one's going to buy the club, and then by then it'll be done. So I think it's almost like a game of chicken who blink, first between the
Yeah.
government and Abramovich. But I mean, I think Abramovich is a businessman, so he's making no money off it anyway. But I think the deciding factor is that he's always said how much he loves Chelsea, so he probably doesn't want them to go down. So I think eventually he's probably going to cave and say, "Fine, forget that 1.5 or
Well, let's
whatever."
see. I mean,
Yeah,
you
well,
talked.
let's
Yeah,
I think.
I was going to say you talked earlier, Athar, about what's being good for football and what have you. And yes, you, on a serious note, you don't want to see any club go under. But this I would
unless it's
also argue.
Arsenal.
I would also I would also argue that this constant sugar daddy funding is also not good for football, because
No.
what it does is it monopolizes football, and that's what you're seeing
Yeah,
now. And that's why you have to give. I know it's going to be difficult for you to do this, Athar, as a United fan, but you've got to give props to Liverpool. They've got a real good manager come in. They've basically used the money that they had sold Coutinho for really, really well, invested it in really good players in key areas, and now that's why they're the force that they are, coupled with the good management that they've got through Klopp.
yeah. But
You
even
know,
them, they're owned by even Liverpool fans don't like their owners. I think the ideal sort of footballing model is someone like Bayern, where I think it's 51%, 49%.
owned by the fans. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I think that is the ideal sort of
Well, the
footballing
government are
model.
making some plans for fan
Yeah,
inclusion in ownership, from what I hear. But said, listen, final word on this
Hmm.
from you. I mean, how does that affect Arsenal in your view?
I mean, we can end up third, you know. So, and then one less competitor next year,
Mm,
uh, with a good team. But I think regardless of what happens, I look for Chelsea fans' point of view, as a football fan, I don't want to see that happen. And I think Abramovich should cave in, but he's a businessman and he could be really salty for being pushed away from a club that he's spent a lot of money, a lot of time in, and a club who he's very close to. Um, so he could just hold on and say, no, I don't care. Give me my money back, because
yeah,
it's not a small amount of money that he's
yeah.
chucking away. It's we're thinking 3 billion. We can't even count that high,
But I
no,
think
right?
either way, he's going to lose that money, isn't he?
Well,
Because
yeah, but
if even if he asks, one, he's not going to get it back from the government, and
no.
secondly, if the sale goes ahead, he's making nothing from the sale.
Well, he's
So I think
he's
it
happy
comes
with
down to how, yeah, I
yeah,
think it comes down to how much he likes Chelsea. I think
yeah.
that's a deciding factor.
Yeah, and I think I think it will get done, or there will be some kind of special dispensation for Chelsea to. And here's the kicker, and I'll love that for that to happen. Chelsea to operate under its own model, so similar to Arsenal, so they can only spend
yeah.
money that they bring in, which I
Hope,
think is
hope they get
fair.
relegated.
That's what will end up happening because
Well, it
Look
puts
what
us
happened
back
to
a few
Derby.
years.
Look what
Well,
happened to Derby.
exactly.
They lost how many points?
yeah, and that's what it is, right? So I think if there is a way for Chelsea to operate from a government point of view and from a Abramovich point of view is, look, we don't know how long the scenario in Ukraine is gonna go on for. We hope it finishes as quick as possible because that's not a good thing.
After the sale of Chelsea.
After the sale of
Absolutely,
Chelsea, right?
absolutely.
But
I'm
at,
just
at the
joking. I'm
same
just
time,
joking.
at the same time, Abramovich can refuse to sell, and there could be an agreement with the government to say, look, no money comes in and out of Chelsea other than what happens for the football. So they can only buy players by selling players. They can only pay the wages by the income they generate. And they're a self-sufficient club, which is a model which all football clubs should follow. So
Yeah,
I 100% agree with you. This sugar daddy business, as you dubbed it not only ruins the game, but it makes the clubs very, very weak to something like what's happening right now.
yeah,
Chelsea have always said we've got money to spend, but all that money is coming from somewhere, and that someone could want it back at any moment,
yeah. And
right?
I, for one, also hope that Chelsea becomes self-sufficient, so they become a club close to how others are run. And I can't wait to see them next season with
Just
half the
before you
players
move on,
sold.
Harry, what do you think in terms of if these sanctions are put on City? Sorry, on Chelsea. Do you not think sanctions should be put on PSG, City, things like
Yeah, I
Yes,
absolutely do.
absolutely,
because
absolutely.
Absolutely agree with you.
obviously they're obviously going against Abramovich because the connections with Russia and everything, but everything that's happened in Saudi Arabia and all these other things,
Yeah, yeah.
human rights issues,
I thought,
that's
let
a
me
big one.
answer that like this, right? You have lived through the era of class of '92, right?
Yeah,
You have seen football from the grassroots develop, where a group of players who have grown up together, sprung up together, and actually that nucleus and that chemistry has not just won league titles, but countless back-to-back league titles, with a
yeah,
rivalry against a team that had a manager that had come in from abroad, unknown, an unknown quantity in, and even Sir Alex Ferguson in these earlier days was not known very well, right? And I think what, to cut a long story short, in answer to your question, is the sugar daddy concept is actually destroying the possibility of those stories.
yeah.
and
The story of Leicester is what I will say.
well,
That
well, absolutely, and we may never see a Leicester again. Should this now look at what's happening in Newcastle? And don't get me wrong, look, I don't want to have a political conversation about what's going on over in Saudi Arabia and whatnot, but in a few years, Newcastle are going to be up there. What will end up happening is the only way that football clubs can survive and win things is if it's monopolised like that. So you will
yeah.
find that the
To be
only
honest, though,
people,
Harry, there's
yeah,
there's just no policing, is there? Like the
no,
FFP,
there's
the
loopholes within
financial fair. Yeah,
FFP, yeah,
there's no enforcement of that,
yeah.
because if there was, really and truly, what they should do is say that United made however many billions last year, however many millions, whatever they've made, they should only be able to use a portion of that or whatever, and they shouldn't be able to go above that, and to be in debt and things like that. But then the rules aren't enforced, and so clubs like City and PSG and United as well, and we're able to just spend crazy amounts, which is not good for the game.
And
No,
this is why it needs to stop for me. Sorry, Zish, you
Yeah,
were saying.
no. I'm just saying it's look. The league have done it. Barcelona were told no,
but I
you're not
think that's a
able to.
law in their country, rather than
And
the
That's
league.
what needs to
and
come in.
that's what needs to
Yeah,
come in. Think about it this way: Barcelona had to lose arguably one of the greatest players to ever play the game on a free,
yeah,
right? Imagine this: City having to lose what you call Kevin De Bruyne or you know Bernardo
Bernardo
Silva for
or
free.
Sterling, yeah.
That even if they lost half their team, it still wouldn't come close to the value of what Leo Messi was to Barcelona, and they
yeah,
still had to walk away from it because of their reckless spending. That rule should 100% be in England and say, look, if you can't generate the income and go, I know dodgy dealing where one of my Saudi companies suddenly sponsors Newcastle. Well, it's like it's not money laundering from
You
one
know
yeah.
why
company
they
to
won't
another.
do it though? Because of that and the entertainment value of it and the money that it's generating is. I mean, if you,
Entertainment, see
yeah,
that's the mistake what people think it is.
yeah,
Were we not entertained when Leicester were freaking winning the league? I was loving it. Arsenal was second and we couldn't even win. I was still enjoying it
mm.
because it was the Premier League was worth watching.
Yeah,
And it will only get worse when this new rule around five substitutions comes in. Because
yeah,
Yeah,
who will it
absolutely.
benefit? I mean,
Deeper squads, bigger
If you
squads.
look
Yeah,
at City's bench, you could make a team out of that, couldn't you?
yeah.
yeah,
Even
absolutely.
Liverpool squad is the strongest, one of,
Yeah.
if not as strong as it is. It's mad.
So let's move on, guys.
Yeah.
We haven't got too long left. So we then, where Arsenal were, was having beat United and Chelsea. Season
Ooh,
once again recovered.
absolutely, mate.
We had a quite on paper a difficult fixture away at West Ham,
Hmm.
and it was one of those games that if we were going to be fighting for the top four, we needed to win. We know that West Ham were in a little bit of an untenable position because they're sandwiched right in between. That game was sandwiched right in between their
Europa League.
fixture in the Europa League, absolutely. And I have to say, from my perspective, that they still fielded quite a strong team. Again, the performance wasn't as convincing. Um, but again, I have to say and repeat what I said earlier when Arsenal went 2-1 up. Again, a goal against the run of play because I think West Ham were generally on top at that point. Um, Arsenal control the game again, Zed. So tell me, is something magical about to happen?
Uh, well,
You won't go that far, will you? You won't.
oh no, I won't, I won't. I think so. Yes, for the West Ham game. So I watched the whole game, and it was absolutely one of the worst games I've seen so far.
It was a
Right.
bitty game, wasn't it?
It was such a rubbish game. I mean, both teams couldn't put more than 10 passes together. It was
Yeah.
just stupid. They kept giving away stupid ball. There was no one controlling the game until Rob Holding gets a very good header and his first ever Premier League goal,
Mm.
which puts lights a bit of a fire under West Ham. And boy oh boy did they turn it up, right? And Jared Bowen, who's a very influential player for West Ham, and you know what, I like Jared Bowen. He's a very very good player, underrated, um, and he just got the goal needed to get them back in before half time. Again for this one, Nuno sleeping, letting Sufal run around with loads and loads of space, and Declan Rice pings a ball to him, beautiful ball first time, and then Sufal just gives it to Jared Bowen, and it's a deflection from Gabriel, but Ramsdale can't do anything about it. It's a good shot and deserved 1-1. Arsenal did improve second half, I have to
They
say.
did. They did.
They were a bit better, and the goal from Gabriel was deserved. That was good movement again, uh, and they did control the game well. But overall, the game was dead
Poor
boring to
game.
watch.
Yeah.
Very poor game to watch. But at this point in the season and what Arsenal are playing for, I would take 3 point over exciting football any day. So well deserved 3 point. A tough game, but I think we came out with the right result, and that's you gotta love that.
Atta, I mean,
Yep.
your poor form, let's be honest and straight here, has opened the door. We spoke about United and the return of Ronaldo potentially putting you up there, chasing City and Liverpool in potentially winning the league. It wasn't meant to be. It didn't happen. You violated Ronaldo, I would say, and absolutely destroyed his legacy. But that's probably going to be for a further pod. Um, what
I don't
was it
know.
like?
I think he's doing it. He's doing well. He's 37, third top scorer in the league. He's not doing too bad, is he?
Used to winning trophies. Yeah, go
Yeah,
on,
I mean,
carry on.
he did, wasn't even winning for Juve, really. Let's be honest. Last season, I don't think they won much, if anything. I don't think. But anyway, yeah.
No, but we've got a few FA Cups in the last few years where I think you're still emptying
Oh, I was talking
cabinets.
about you. I was talking about Ronaldo, not about United.
Well, isn't Ronaldo the whole United team at the moment?
He is. He
Exactly,
is. Yeah.
exactly.
But to be fair, I mean, I'll take that right now if Ronaldo keeps scoring.
I was about to ask you a question, Atar. Let's get back on
Yeah.
track. So yeah, look, I mean, I'm just sort of trying to contextualize the season for United and your. I really want to get into your head a little bit. Really, are you watching that game or keeping a track on that game, thinking, I hope Arsenal slip because maybe if we get a couple of good
Yeah.
because
No, not the.
mathematically you're still not out of it. You know,
No, I
you
mean, I
weren't at
think
that point. You weren't at that point.
I think there's no way of us ever of us making Champions League or top four because I think we're 5 points behind you and three behind Tottenham, but we played 2 games extra. So if the maximum we can get is if we win our next 2 games is 64, I think 64 points, which is
Yeah,
only one more point than you've got now. So the only way we'd get above you is if you lost all your games
yeah.
between now and the end of the season, which hopefully can happen. You went on a three game losing streak before you beat us in Chelsea and
But were
West
you
Ham
impressed with that result on a neutral
against
point of
West
view?
Ham.
Yeah, yeah,
To be honest, yeah. When I wouldn't say I was impressed. I think looking at Tottenham's team, I think they're missing Antonio, which is a big loss. I say
West Ham.
missing West Ham. Sorry, they put him on second half, didn't they? And I think there's the central defence have got some players that were missing, and they've just got
Yeah,
some injuries back from injuries and stuff.
they
And
were playing the cat
yeah,
kicker though. The cat kicker.
who Zuma, yeah, Zuma,
Zuma.
yeah.
Yeah,
Zuma, yeah.
And I
yeah,
think I think I think s- I think West Ham were just clearly just thinking a lot more, not a lot more, but they did field a strong team, but on paper and the way you were playing after
yeah.
beating us and Chelsea expected you to win. To be fair, but um, I honestly hate you, Arsenal. I hate Tottenham, but I hate Arsenal more. So I would love it. Kevin Keegan vibes here. I would love it if they if they pick you to the post on the last day of the season. But yeah, I think I wasn't surprised you won, but I was hoping you lost definitely.
Another salty Manchester United fan.
I'm not salty. It's just truth. The truth is, I'd be salty if I thought we were better than you. But right now, I don't think we are. I think you're playing as better as a team, as a unit, whatever. But I just hate you. So
that
that's the
that
truth.
that's fair. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So Zed, 3 more points in the bag
Mm-hmm.
takes us to, if I remember correctly, 61
Six,
points.
63, I
66.
think.
63
You're on
66.
63 now. Yeah, you're on
We're in
63.
63.
63. Chelsea's on
63.
66. So there's
That's
three
right.
points difference
Yeah.
between Chelsea and Arsenal. If you told me that at the start of the season when we were in the relegation zone, I would
Yeah,
have laughed at
absolutely.
you.
And so, and this is what I wanted to just move on. I know we're going to very quickly preview the Leeds game before we go.
Mm-hmm.
But we've now in a position where there are 4 more games to go.
Four more games.
We've got Leeds at home.
Yep.
We've got Tottenham away, the North London
Yep.
derby. We've
Big
got
game.
Newcastle away,
Yep.
which I think you want to say some words on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we've got final game of the season, Everton fighting for their life, fighting for survival at the Emirates. Tottenham, if I remember this, and correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, but I believe they have Liverpool at Anfield next,
Yes. Yep.
Burnley at home thereafter, and
No, I think after
No. No.
Liverpool,
No.
isn't it you?
No.
sorry,
It's after Liverpool is Arsenal, then
Yeah.
Burnley
us at home for them, and then Burnley at
at
home,
home as well for them.
and then I can't remember who they're fighting. Oh
Norwich
yes, they've got
away.
Norwich away. Norwich away, final game of the season. Can we start to dream of that Champions League music now, or is it too early to be optimistic, Zed?
I would say it's too early until the last game. That's
Mm.
just the way football is, and that's just the way Premier League is, right?
Even though, Zed, that if we secure 3 points against Leeds, and as
Hmm.
Arsenal fans, we never can say that it's done until it is done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can just see a scrappy 1-0 there again, to be honest with you, an own goal from Leeds or something. But
No, I think
anyway,
we should get more from against
we
Leeds.
we we,
I
sh- we
don't
should and
know.
will.
I
Well,
don't think
should
you will. You know.
go on, Atta. Why not?
I think Leeds. They're they're also in a relegation battle. I don't know if you've seen the table, but if
They
Yeah,
are,
they
they
are.
are.
They are.
they are literally joint with Burnley, and Everton have a game in hand, and I think they're 2 points behind them. So if Everton win their game in hand, say Leeds at 18th, so they're in the relegation battle.
Mm,
Also, since their new manager's come in, Leeds have been playing really quite well. They've won and drawn. I think they lost last week against City.
mm.
But otherwise, they've been playing good football. They've been grinding out results. They've been playing quite well.
So
Um,
Zed, we're
I
gonna
think
come
it's
on to the.
actually a difficult one for
I
you,
mean,
but
that's a fair, and that's why I said I think it's
I
going to be a
still think
scrappy
you'll
game.
win. But I think it'll be a difficult game.
So Zed, hold in the context of what we've just discussed with the two games,
Hmm.
and obviously we're going to talk about Leeds in a second, and bring the Leeds obviously preview into that for us. Zed, here's what I was going to say was we've got Leeds obviously next at home,
Hmm.
then we've got technically speaking, if we win at home to Leeds
Yep.
and draw at Tottenham, that
Hmm.
actually puts us in fourth place mathematically.
It
And
does. It
and
does.
and Liverpool beat Tottenham. Provided that happens, going into the North London derby, a point would secure top four.
A
That's why I'm
point.
asking you:
Well,
can we dream of Champions League music?
so here's the thing. Mathematically, it doesn't because it'll come down to goal difference. So assuming we are 6 points ahead with 2 games to play, and Tottenham's are 6 points behind with 2 games to play, we lose the next two and they win the next two, they have a better goal difference. So it's never quite done. Right? So I think the earliest you can categorically mathematically say is if Arsenal beat Leeds, Tottenham lose against what you call
Liverpool.
No,
Liverpool.
I think if you win your next two and Tottenham lose their next two, that's it. It's game over.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's the
That's the
the
quickest scenario. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the quickest scenario because then we I
I
think
hope that happens because then we might get fifth.
And then if you got your Chelsea situation, who
Yeah,
knows?
then I'll be phoning Abramovich myself. We in the
I
FA.
think
I like the caution, Zed. I like the
no,
caution.
this is a reality, right? We've just seen Arsenal lose 3 games that they should have lost, win 3 games that everyone expected them to lose.
Mm,
So it's you don't know because this is a team that hasn't found its consistency yet. The same
yeah.
can be said for Tottenham as well. I think
Remember,
Tottenham
guys, Tottenham are bottlers. So,
they are, and they've got Liverpool.
yeah.
They've got Liverpool to play, right? So it's a
But
very
Conte
very
pulls
tough.
it out the bag against City, didn't
Well,
he?
they beat
Yeah,
City at the Etihad,
away.
didn't they?
Yes,
They
yeah.
did, but I think from a Liverpool point of view right now, they've secured Champions League final, they've secured FA Cup final. Everything for them now
Is to play
is
for.
is the Premier
We
League,
need
right?
to. We can't have them winning a quadruple. I'm sorry, I hate them more than I hate you. So that cannot happen.
Well,
I mean, I
they're on
couldn't
track
care
for that.
less. I couldn't care less what they do as long as they beat Tottenham for us on the weekend.
I think they will. I think they will. I think
I
Arsenal
think
should win
Tottenham will be
against
okay,
Leeds.
against them. For some reason, in my head, I've got a feeling they'll draw.
You think they'll get a result?
I think because look, they're going to come back from Villarreal, aren't they?
Well, they've
Liverpool on
played
the way back.
Villarreal today, and they've
Yeah,
got
Yeah, yeah.
they've
We've
just beat
beaten
them
them.
three
But
two. So
they were just like the first half. I don't know if you've seen it. They were absolutely all over them. Villarreal were, but then Liverpool's quality comes through,
Well,
didn't it?
that's
Yeah.
it's the Champions League semi-final
Tottenham
away,
have
right?
had
That's going
Tottenham
to
have
be the
had
case.
this
And
whole
and
time
at
off,
that,
haven't
at
they?
this stage of the season, is not the adrenaline enough to get you through these sort of
Yeah,
games?
it is. But Tottenham have had a week off, haven't they? I say a week off since the last game. They'll have
Mm,
had a week, won't they? So they've got a bit more
mm.
time to prepare.
He's
Liverpool
got a
come
point
home
there,
against
Zed.
City, yeah.
I mean, is there anything in that game for Tottenham?
And Tottenham have to. I know it sounds silly. Liverpool and Tottenham both have to win, but
Yeah.
I think in terms of, I mean, I expect Liverpool to win. They're at home, but I would not be surprised if the Tottenham Conte masterclass and they win.
I mean,
I wouldn't rule it out.
I think yeah. I mean, there's always a chance, and Conte is an excellent manager. You can't say, but anything. But the problem for me is Liverpool's attackers, right? They are absolutely
Relentless.
yeah.
Yeah, but even
That's
today they weren't. This is what I'm trying to say. The first Jota was off it, Salamana, they were all not playing well first half.
they
Then
weren't. I
Luis
think that
Diaz came in and
Luis Diaz, and
he
that's the
changed the
thing, isn't
game.
it? Yeah, that's the thing. You've got Luis Diaz. They've got options on the bench, and they've got quality
Yeah.
on the bench to bring it on. And I think for them today, it was more the midfield that I wasn't sure about. So Naby Keita and what you call
Fabinho and Thiago. They were
Fabinho
missing
and
Hendo,
Thiago.
weren't they?
Yeah, they were missing that physicality and the leadership in the middle of the park, which people don't give credit to Henderson for anything. But I think what he brings to the team is a lot more than what people
Mm.
can physically see. It's not always about the base
He
football.
just
So
likes to
what
shout, doesn't he? Let's be honest.
I think sometimes shouting does help.
Yeah, he just likes to scream and shout
And you
of it.
can bet your bottom dollar he'll be in the team for this weekend, won't he?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
You know,
they've
absolutely.
rested him for the Tottenham game, I think. But I think
Yeah.
I want a Tottenham win. You want a Tottenham loss.
I think for me, and I have to just quickly bring in the City game here, is that was a masterclass because they
Yeah,
absolutely played into. And yes, Liverpool have got that high line, but there aren't many teams that have actually broken down Liverpool on the counter. They do get back, you know,
yeah. But Son
which they
is
didn't.
too
Which
rapid.
City were just absolutely caught with, weren't they, at the right times?
Yeah,
I think
because
the thing
it's
with City
Kane
is
dropping into those gaps, isn't it? And then spinning
yes,
to
Yes.
it is,
Son.
it is.
That's the issue.
I think it's just Kane and Son. Tottenham is basically three players. Pierre Emil Højbjerg, who does basically everything for them, defensive and midfield, and then you have Kane and Son just scoring goals. That's
Yeah.
literally the entire team. The only other player who gets close is Christian Romero, who is a decent
I
centre
don't know
half.
that Bentancur. I think he's injured, but he's been good since he's come.
He's been all right.
And
Kulusevski's been all
Kulusevski,
right.
Kulusevski's
yeah,
been
yeah.
quality.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
all right. So I think what the issue is, right, when you're playing against a City team, you can absorb the pressure and hit them on the counter. The
Mm,
problem with the Liverpool team is that the way they play, the Gingham press that they play, is that they try to win the ball high up the pitch.
yeah.
They're not waiting. They're not having. So the
but
way
City
Liverpool
do the
play,
same. City do the
no,
same. They do press high
City
up.
are the slowest team in the Premier League for build up.
No, but that's because all the teams sit back against them,
Sit
isn't
back,
it?
and teams don't sit back against Liverpool because if they do, that means Liverpool have a higher chance of scoring because of the way they play. You have
Yeah.
to actually play against Liverpool.
I think Liverpool will win, but I'm really hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think there's an advantage. City you can do on the counter. Liverpool, it's harder to do on the counter because when you sit back, that plays into their hand of trying to win
Sometimes
the
you
ball
don't.
high up the
Yes.
pitch.
Sometimes it's not so much a counter. It's because they've got such a high line. It doesn't even need to be
Yeah, yeah,
it's like a quick
definitely can get
ball
caught
into
out.
the channel,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
for me, that game is going to be about who scores the first goal. I think if Liverpool get an
Yeah.
early goal, they
Son
take it
will
away.
score. No,
Yeah.
I think Son will score the first goal, and then
Do
it'll
you
be
think?
Salah.
Look,
Yeah,
Liverpool don't concede very many, and they certainly don't concede too early at home. You've got to remember this is at
no,
Anfield, isn't it? You know, and
yeah.
they don't lose many at home. I think I know where Atta is on the hopes, and he would be, but I can't see anything other than
No, I
it'll probably
agree.
be a good game.
I'm just trying to
Wishful
talk
thinking.
talk
Wishful
Tottenham
thinking.
up.
He's trying to worry us, Zed. He's trying to put us off
Well,
our. He's trying to get in our heads. Right.
I mean, to be honest
Very.
with you, they probably will get hammered. They'll probably get hammered 5-0, but then so will
Yeah,
you. So
God
against
willing, we've
Leeds.
just finished Ramadan. We just finished Ramadan, and God will answer our prayers. Right, Zed. Very quickly, Leeds versus Arsenal. Atta touched on it earlier. He gave us his 2 pence.
Mhm.
What? I mean, it should be 3 points, but Arsenal never did the easy way, do they?
No, no. I think it's going to be another scrappy game. I'm not expecting Arsenal to put in a performance. I think uh, it's going to be a bit of an open game. So I'm going to say probably about 3-1 or 3-2 to Arsenal,
Okay.
something along those lines. Because I don't think Arsenal are as clinical as we think they are. They are very rubbish, and what they have is a bit of a mentality that they've got in grinding results currently, and
Yeah.
that's needed.
Yeah. Okay. I thought predictions for Leeds.
Yeah, I think you'll win. To be fair, I'm hoping it'll probably just be a 1-0 to you, like, but I'm hoping Leeds weather the storm because you haven't, let's be honest, been playing that well
No, no.
against Chelsea. I think you did against us and against West Ham in patches. You played okay, and against us, you didn't. You weren't as good as against Chelsea. So I think if Leeds can weather the storm, there's something in it for them, especially with what's riding on it for them. But
Hmm.
having said that, I still expect you at home to win.
I'm going to
One
agree with you.
one nil.
I'm going to go 3-1. I think this is a game that, although I agree with you, the performance won't be the best. I think this is a game that Leeds have to come out and play, and I think they'll leave gaps at the back. And I think that we probably will score first, but they'll be back in the game. But I think second half we'll probably score another couple and end up controlling it how we have been against other teams recently, and just secure the points in the bag, leading it nicely into the um, North London
North London
derby
derby.
next Thursday. So we look forward to that one, and let's get another pod in before then. I thought again,
Absolutely,
once
mate.
again, mate, I want to say thank you very much for joining us. It's not always nice to come in on the back of a loss. But you were gracious in doing so, and we really enjoyed. I'm sure Zed will agree with me having that banter
Absolutely, mate.
and talk with you. So thank you for coming on. Any final words
No
from you?
worries. Yeah, no, I think all jokes aside, I do think you're in the driving seat for top four. I think the Tottenham game against Liverpool is a big one. That I just can't see Liverpool. I mean, I know I've said I'm hoping Tottenham win or whatever, but I still can't. I still think Liverpool win. I just think by the end of that game, if you've won that, if they lose by the time you play them, you could potentially be 5 points clear of them. So you'll be going into that game knowing you just need a point or something or whatever. And I think the pressure will be on Tottenham. So I think top four's in the bag for you really.
Yeah.
And then hopefully Tottenham slip up, we get fifth, Chelsea get kicked out, and we're in the top four, and then loving it.
It's possible, eh? It's possible.
Yeah.
Zed, final
Th-
thoughts from
th-
you, my friend.
yeah, there's a very slim chance that Man U are in the. I think you can still get Conference League, so
And
that
we've been
Well, we could,
we've
yeah.
been kind to Atta tonight. Let's be honest. I mean, there's a look, we if this was in person, we'd be very cruel with you, Atta,
Yeah,
on the
I'm not
losing.
gonna
But
lie. If it was in person, I would have come out swinging as well.
but we have to be very humble at the moment. If we'd have secured top four by now, we this would have gone ham tonight. To be honest
I
with you.
know. I wouldn't have.
And
I wouldn't have been on.
right, Zed. Listen, mate. Fine, we're going over time a little bit. Final words
yeah,
from
go
you,
on,
my
man.
friend.
No, mate. I
And where
think
can we find you?
hell, you can find me on Twitter at Z_TAGP. Uh, like and let us know if you want to be on the next episode of the podcast.
Brilliant. We need to find some scum Spurs supporters for the next
I think
pod.
I know. I know a Tottenham fan maybe that could.
Yeah, your uncle.
No, no. It's a funny story, but maybe that's another day.
Yeah, let's leave that one till when we're in person, I think, guys. Right, Zed, thanks very much for that. Look, guys, I've been Harry Carnu. You can catch me at Harry Carnu on Twitter. It's a good thing Atar doesn't have a Twitter because he'd probably get lots of abuse for being a Manchester United supporter, but we're protecting him, so we
No,
won't share his Twitter.
I do have a Twitter. I'm just not sharing it.
He's protecting himself, mate.
Yeah.
There's all good reason for that. Listen, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care and God bless.